You're listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. I'm Wole and I'm joined by my guy, George. We've been waiting on the homie Glen, and Mo is out. What's going on, George?
Man, I've been waiting for this conversation ever since Myles Garrett just kind of casually put it out there in the ether. But
Yeah.
honestly, you know what I did today? That usually I've done about 4 or 5 or even 10 of these by now. I did the mock draft simulator for the first time
Oh,
today.
you did one? Okay.
But it's like it's February 6th. Usually I've done, I don't know, 10, 20, maybe even 30 of these by now. It's
All right.
so wild what's happened this season, but it's like, man, just thinking about all the possibilities for this team in this offseason.
You did.
I can't wait.
I've never done. I've never done a mock thing. Like I've done it. I've obviously done some. We both in the football garbage time thing with Hakum, and he gives me
Which I love doing.
do a
I
mock
love doing
draft as a whole. That's the
Yeah.
most I do in terms of mock. That's the most I do, and I feel like I do so much.
I love doing that PFN mock draft simulator. It is the bomb, especially because they got that you can have trade backs and stuff.
Oh, I tell you, that's the most research I do on football when I'm going to Hakum Wong's mocks. I'm like, dang, I got to do research. I got to look up. Like I'm in school all over again. Paul, what's going on? No mocks for me. Okay. But yeah, Paul does his. Paul breaks down stuff. He looks at film and everything. Paul, I'm gonna talk to you about maybe a possible show on one of these platforms about like you being a guest and breaking down. I want to call it Paul's top 5. Top 5. You know what I mean? I kind of want to, and realistic guys for the Commanders. I think that would be cool. Just watching the players. Yeah, just film watching for players. Yeah.
So, and honestly, I had a good time during your NBA show earlier because it's like, man, the rest of this season, after all these trades, the rest of this season is going to be real interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of like, basketball. This trade deadline was wild, to say the least. It was wild. Like some of the stuff that you should never see in a like the mid part of the season. Usually those type of trades, happen in the off season, but it is what it is.
And it's one of those things, but it's like the NBA off the court is always interesting. It is always interesting.
Ronald, we went from being ugly to the hot.
Right.
Yeah, the hot. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
We are the little girl with the curl.
We will get into all of that, man. All of that we will get into. But before we do all that, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Everything. Also tweet us at ABG_everything and hit us up on IG and TikTok at ABG_everything. If you are viewing this on a different platform, hey, just go to our All Burgundy and Gold Everything YouTube channel. Hit that red subscribe button and also like this video. And if you feel real generous, hit us up with a super chat on YouTube, and we'll prioritize your comment. This podcast episode is also being streamed on the Urban Sports Scene X handle, so feel free to go over there if you have to. If you want to watch this, you want to watch it over there, go to Urban Sports Scene X handle, and also hit the Urban Sports Scene X handle with a follow. All right, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We'll talk about the trade rumors involving Cleveland Brown defensive end Myles Garrett. All right. Ain't no secret. George has already mentioned it. You know what I mean? And he's mentioned some, Myles Garrett poking the bear. But anyway, as we all know, Myles Garrett has requested a trade, and Washington fans are clamoring for him. They hot for him, man. It's like they in heat for Myles Garrett. I ain't gonna lie, I'm in heat for Myles Garrett. Pause. I ain't gonna lie to you guys, the truth. Anyway, we even mentioned this on the show a few weeks way back before it became a thing. He added fuel, like George said, he added fuel to the fire during a Sports Illustrated interview where he was asked if he wanted to get traded to the Commanders. He smiled and said, "I mean, they need a pass rusher. I think that's something that they dearly missed in the playoffs in some of their big games." He added that he could fit in that role. He said he could fit in that role. All right, George, do you think it is truly a high? I'll say this. I'm sorry. I'll put it this way. Do you feel like Washington is one of the high teams on his list? Are they high on his list?
I certainly do. I certainly do, because number one, we can absorb if there's cap space, if there's a big cap charge that needs to be absorbed, we can absorb it. And what I think is going to be interesting about this is I've been seeing Browns accounts that I follow on Twitter saying the Browns just can't do this. They cannot do this. They're going to nuke their cap.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if there's some way Washington can facilitate this. I know this ain't the NBA where you can do that, but it's like if Washington could facilitate this and bring the price down some kind of way, oh, would I love that? Because to me, it's going to be expensive. But I would put Washington in that class. I think they're absolutely one of the teams that's got to be involved in this. I think one that you kind of got to watch out for, because they're talking about cutting Bosa's of 49ers.
Yeah.
I'd put them in there.
Which one, Bosa?
Because, yes, I know they
talking about the Chargers
year,
Bosa? You talking about Chargers Bosa, right?
Oh, Chargers Bosa. I thought we were talking about Nick Bosa.
Yeah, he's the one. Yeah, they're talking about cutting him.
Yeah, okay. Then the Chargers have got to be somebody that would have to be in it as well. I mean, I think – and then here's this. What about Detroit? Because don't they got to push all their chips in the middle too?
Yeah.
With the team they've got. So I think Washington makes the most sense, because let's face it, we talked about it. We talked about it when there were some brief thoughts about the trade deadline. We said,
we talked about it after we played Cleveland.
Yeah, and it's like we know that setting the edge was our biggest problem. And Myles Garrett talked about the lack of a pass rusher. He's right about that. But let's face it, we all know what happened in that Philadelphia game. They couldn't set the edge, and Saquon Barkley just ran around both ends like and he was running through holes that were wide enough for a truck to go through. So yeah, I think Washington is there. I think Washington is absolutely in that conversation. I think we're the number one team right now, because not just because what he said.
Yeah.
Look at we've heard the reports about 8 players are telling their agents, I want to go to Washington. There's so much momentum behind this franchise. And I mean everything. Look at the press conference that the owner had, Josh Harris. First and foremost, you never had that before. You never saw Dan Snyder come out in front of the media after a season was over. Never. And just look at all the things that are trending in the right direction. The stadium, both the one they're in and the one they're eventually going to build. The brand. The fact is, there's a reason why he said what he said this year after kind of equivocating on it last year. Now that they're a winning team, a lot more people like the name. What a shock. No surprise there. And he's talked about, kind of incorporating the old uniform, which is smart. And just everything that's going on and the feelings. And you see Jaden Daniels out here in the media today. He was doing the rounds at Radio Row and all that. It's all positive vibes, all of it. And players want to be a part of that. And we've got the cap space, and we've got the kind of general manager. Look, Adam Peters did his best work in the draft in the middle rounds and the late rounds of the draft. Not necessarily in the first couple rounds, but in the middle and late rounds. And even in a scenario where they trade for Myles Garrett, they're still going to have those kinds of picks, in my opinion. So I think we're the head of the class right now when it comes to getting him. And we should be. We should be, because, even with the turnover of the roster that we've talked about and some of these other things, we're not far away from being a championship team.
Yeah. No, I agree. We got a bunch of comments. So I want to Paul said in terms of, I guess it's the money. We got a lot of money too for him. That's what makes us pretty attractive. We got a lot of money. So if he signs there, if he comes here, if he wants some type of, we work his deal, we have money. We have a lot of money under the cap. Ronald, what's up, Indian Lake? What's going on, baby? He said, I'd love to get Garrett. I'm not excited about giving up our future picks, but what y'all think he's worth? Oh man. Yeah, Paul responded, he said, Payne, a number one and number in a third round. Definitely worth a first rounder. I'm not going to even lie. He's worth the first rounder. Pass rushers are typically a hot commodities, especially when you're arguably the best defensive player in football. It's not even just being a top tier pass rusher. You're arguably the best defensive player in football. And he's still relatively young. So that makes it even more attractive to have a guy like this. I think we're definitely top on the list. To be real with you, I think we're in the top teams. I think if we're not one, we're definitely two. I just feel like Paul said that you got Jaden Daniels. He referenced Jaden Daniels. You have a player friendly coach in Dan Quinn. I think that plays a part. The organization as a whole. You even got, I mean, not to be anything, but not to be funny, but you got a notable figure in Magic Johnson in the room. I'm sure that helps for recruitment. If you're anybody in the world of sports, seeing that you could be around Magic Johnson, a legend, that plays a part too. Just like anybody wants to be around Michael Jordan or whatever, right? I mean, you're just around that, right? You're involved in that whole environment. So I do think it plays a part. I think everything Washington is building definitely has that. And then you just got a team just got to the NFC Championship game. You know what I mean? So you're only looking at this. You're only looking at this team to ascend. If you're going from Cleveland, a team that has been to the postseason a few times, but never kind of got that far. You see a young team pretty much that doesn't have all their bullets yet, and they've already got to the NFC Championship game. You're looking at yourself like, though, they add me, we getting there. You know what I mean? Because you got to look at some of these high-powered teams that are like the Eagles or like even the Lions got paid players. Like they got still pay players. So the Lions, the Eagles, all they got paid. Like Washington's in a place where they got money under the cap. They still got a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal, so you're gonna have him for years. I just feel like Washington's in the best position to get him. I feel like we're super high on this list. It's truth be told, I feel like it's up to Adam Peters. It's like that's what it is. If we want, how bad do you want Myles Garrett? It goes back to what Ronald at Indian Lake said. Like he's not looking forward to giving up draft picks. You're gonna have to. So are you willing to? Because that's the best commodity. It's not the player. It's not even Payne and Allen. Like those are the players. We'll get to that. What they should give up, but it's not even Payne or Allen. The truth, the real talk is like, yo, how much are you trying to give up in terms of draft pick? It ain't players. Teams value draft picks more than they value players. So what are you trying to value? What are you willing to give up? And what is it? And will just one first rounder do? You know what I'm saying? Or a first and a third? Like you see what I'm saying? With a first and a third, shoot, it may not even be a first and a third. It may be a first and a second. For real. You don't know. It depends. It really does, man. It really truly does. He said he also put if they accept Payne, that literally takes the Payne away. I don't know that. I don't think Payne in the first round. I don't know Payne that would suffice. I'm be real with you. And y'all know I like Deron Payne. I'm not gonna hold you. He agrees with. He says I'd give up a first, third this year for yeah. I mean, I would give up. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I give up pretty much. Not a crazy trade, but a first and third is reasonable for me. I'm willing to give up my first. I'll put that out there. I'm willing to give up my first. And I feel like Adam Peters does a great job with draft picks, so I know that would still hurt. But I'm willing to. I'm willing. I don't really give a fudge about a second, to be real with you, but I'm willing to definitely give up my first. You know what I'm saying? George, would you be willing to give up?
Look, if we got away with Jeremy's trade with a first and a third, I think that'd be great because if I was Cleveland, because of the fact that the first round of this year's 29, it would take 2 number ones for me because the first one you're getting is 29.
How old is he?
And to me, that's the limit of the price. I'm going to look that up about Myles Garrett and his age because I want to say he's 30, but I might be wrong about that. But I know if it's me, 2 number ones is as far as I'm going to go. Born in 95, so he is turning 30 this year.
Oh, that's
in fact, he's going to turn 30 right at the end of this coming season coming up.
He's 29. Yeah, it'll be in December.
So he's turning 30.
No, he's 29, bro. Not 27, Paul. He's 29. George is right.
He's got the same birthday as my brother. He's just a few years older than him. He's December 29.
It's on Wiki.
Yeah, he's going to be 30. But if I'm the Browns, and what I'm wondering is there any way for the Browns and Garrett to do a restructure so that it doesn't kill them to trade him? Because that, to me, is going to drive the price up. If you're going to nuke your cap, which the Browns are going to do if they trade Myles Garrett, they're going to nuke their cap.
Mm-hmm.
Then they buy. That's going to add to the price because they don't have to trade him. I mean, he wants to trade. Yes, they don't have to trade him. He's signed and sealed for another 3 years, I think.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah, they don't have to trade him. That's what I'm saying. Like they really don't have to trade him. I know. I thought about that too.
and to me, that's the two things that increase the price. One, it hurts the Browns to trade him. Let's be clear about that. It hurts them to trade him.
So you have to make.
And then two, they don't want to.
Yeah.
So
you have to force it. Then it's going to have to be more.
So then, Mike. Okay. Well, then here's the question: does Washington and Garrett talk before and say and work out some restructure that can alleviate some of that pain for the Browns and maybe decrease the price? Again, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I want 2 firsts, and if I'm Washington, that's as far as I would go, is 2 firsts.
It depends how bad he wants to leave. Because what I mean by that is money is money. You got to restructure your deal. You got to restructure your money. So it depends how bad he wants to leave. It depends.
And that's the thing. He's been respectful. I assume the Browns are going to be respectful, but we don't know how this is going to go, and we don't because we've seen this before. There's plenty of trade requests that start out fine and amicable and cordial and then get ugly. Mm-hmm. So, and that's going to be that, I'm sure that Adam Peters knows how to play this game and will play it well, but we just have to remember that the Browns don't have to do this.
Paul says, hey, 2 firsts and a third. Ooh.
I mean, I hope it's not that price, but I could see that being the asking price. Because again, if you're the Browns and you don't get some kind of the help for the cap for the cap deal and some alleviation of that, then you have got to get the premium here, because you're going to be relying on the draft to rebuild this team. And look, we know they were talking about cutting Watson and just nuking it all together.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. They got Watson to redo his deal, and of course he got hurt. So, I don't know what the heck happens with that. And if they can say get out from under him completely, I mean, that's the other thing. Are the Browns in a situation, because they're picking 3rd in the draft, I think, right? Or 2nd or something like that.
They're further back down, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like that, they got to be looking at quarterback in the first round. Especially if now with Watson being injured, if that's the end of his career, which I think it is, they're picking 2nd. So so they don't have to move up to get a quarterback. But if they don't want a quarterback in this draft and they want to get one next year, which is going to be the year of quarterbacks, then they're going to want some draft assets to try to help make that happen.
I like this.
I mean, to me, it's going to be hard to get away with just say a 1st and a 3rd, like what Jeremy was talking about. Yeah, and if that's the price, I would love it. I would love it.
Carl, I like this question. What if Higgins demands a first this year if he goes to Washington, which may implicate the impact the Garrett situation or with Cup? Pretty sure Cup age may factor into which pick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want Cooper Cup.
I don't think Cup would cost very much either, but I'm with.
But I wouldn't want it because of his injuries. Either. I'm just not like, and I like Cooper Cup. This is not like a Cooper Cup knock. His injuries are too have piled up to a point where I don't think that's a good investment right now. But is he good? Would he be great in the slot if healthy throughout the year? Yes, but I wouldn't want to pay Cooper Cup a certain amount of a guy who you can't have on the field that often. Now,
and the Higgins thing is interesting too, because now the momentum seems to be trending towards he's going to stay in Cincinnati.
I mean, again, I'm gonna be real. I like Higgins a lot. I would love Higgins too, but if you're talking about between Higgins and Myles Garrett, I don't need Higgins. That's just.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Paul. Yeah. I mean, and again, it's not a knock on. Like I would have to be banking on. I would have to bank on Cooper Cup being healthy, and that's too much of a risk. That's just too much of a risk.
And look, things have changed. Let's be honest. If this team was what Wole and I thought it was going to be at the start of the season, say they went 7-10 or 8-9 or whatever,
Facts.
I'd be dead set against it because it'd be like, "What are you, crazy?
Yeah,
we're rebuilding still. We won't do this." This whole season has just thrown everything up in the air because now you're looking at your window is we've kept all our coaches, which you don't do in this league hardly ever.
We lost like one coach, I think. I think we lost like one coach, right? We lost one coach, right?
I think but we've kept the main coordinators.
The main coaches,
I think
agreed.
We've kept all. I think all the former ex-coaches have stayed. Like, I don't think we lost Anthony Lynn or some of the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then you throw in Jaden's just had the greatest rookie year in the history of rookie quarterbacks.
Yep. Rookie of
And
the year.
yes,
And shout out Rookie of the year.
rookie of the year,
Jayden
nearly
Rookie of the year.
unanimous. I think he didn't. There was one first place vote he didn't get, which I
Okay.
hope went to Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Because if somebody voted for Bo Nix, I'd want to slap that person, honestly. But we've got the quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
We know that we got him. We know that he's one of the best already. We've got the coaching staff. So the future is now, as the famous saying goes from from former Hall of Fame coach George Allen. Future is now. The time to win a Super Bowl is next year. It is next year. Can you believe this? We're talking like this. It's crazy, but it's true. The time to win a Super Bowl is right now. So
what up, my guy?
That means Garrett, absolutely number one target. Like I say, if we want to discuss like potential trade targets, if that falls through, I know I got at least one. Sure, you've got a few yourself in your mind, Wole.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is why. And look, we believe now we're going to be picking in the 20s or even in the 30s for the next several years because of who we've got, because of Jaden, and because of our front office and our coaching staff. So it's a lot easier to trade those kind of picks and have it not hurt you. We're not trading. I mean, this would be something if we were, and that's the other thing. If we were picking in the top 10 or 15, then one first rounder might get the job done. But we're picking 29. So for me, one first rounder isn't enough as a result.
Yeah, I mean, first rounders are valuable in football regardless. So I don't ever like. It's a first rounder, so it's still, and usually you still get really good players, Hall of Famers in the first round. When you get really good players in the first round. First round, second round of guys, I feel like they're a true value to your roster. You expect those two players to play, possibly start right on your team. Your first round and second rounders. Typically, unless it's like a quarterback situation where you want to groom the quarterback, but typically you want your first or second round picks to pretty much start or get a bunch of playing time. So it's valuable, but I think, but to your point, for a guy like Myles Garrett, you're wondering what the asking price is. 29 is kind of different though. Now that I think about it, like when him at 29 to 30, I feel like a first and third would probably work. I thought he was younger, to be real with you. Like 29, I'm gonna be real with you. It's the same way I was talking about Dante Fowler in terms of his money he's gonna ask for. It's the same thing. If somebody's in their 30s right now, because now they're like, because football, right? Your football prime, like he's still in his football prime, which is good. But that's probably going to get him like 3 more years of his football prime. You know what I mean? 33, typically around that time, you start to kind of like not be the same dude. So I mean, the argument that maybe a first and third would be good. Maybe a first and fourth on a low may work out because of the age. You're not dealing with a young player, and you're not dealing with a quarterback. So now it changes. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the back end of, like, you also got to look at the realm of like players being traded in the past in his position at that age. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go back and really think about it and break it down. I'm just not sure. At 29 to 30, he'll be 30 in December, right? He'll be 30 in December.
Yeah, he's going to be 30 in about week 15 or 16 of the season next year.
Yeah. So that means you get him for roughly, like, call him next year, roughly 4 years, right? 4 years of his prime. Oh, no, that's interesting. That's different.
I mean, I think, again, if it wasn't for the fact that the contract was what it was and the cap is what it was, I would agree with you. I think, but that's, again, my question. My question then becomes: can Washington? Because some of these situations we see in the NFL,
has to want to go to those places, though. So that's my argument too.
They gotta want to go there, but if they do want to go there, then you hear about, hey, let's do a contract extension so that when they're traded, they sign it like that day.
Yeah.
Can you do something like that to get
the Browns out
from under a significant cap charge? By the way, I love the fact that Chad is throwing up all kinds of guys for us to draft for receivers for us to draft. I love that.
I can't a draft. We're gonna do a draft show eventually. I can't do all the drafts. You know what I'm saying? We'll do a draft show eventually. I can't like give you all the information and all of a sudden I can't nothing to talk about next show. That's ridiculous. On the draft show, I'll be like, yeah, you guys gave me all the draft picks. Was you about to say, George? You was about to say something.
Well, because I was looking through the chat and somebody was like, Washington needs to get Myles Garrett before Philadelphia does. I do not want to
That
live
is
in a
a
world where Philadelphia
see,
gets Myles
that's a
Garrett.
Philly move though. But again, the good thing for Washington though, if that's the case, like they're bidding against, and because they're only going to value draft picks, it's not a player thing. So now Washington has the lower draft pick. The Eagles don't have the they don't, and I don't. And truth be told, the Eagles don't got the money to get they don't have the money to get him. Like they're already invested in so many other players. So
Yeah.
they have.
I mean, they've
So,
got Jalen Hurts is making a lot of money for them.
yeah, Jalen
So
Hurts and Megan. Washington's still on a rookie deal. Like Jaden's on his rookie deal, so you still have a lot of flexibility. And a lot of these dudes they are on 1 year deals. They didn't pay the back. Only like maybe Terry is the only dude that really has and Deron Payne on contract. Real dudes that have been paid the bag. And you're talking about trying to trade Deron Payne away for Myles Garrett. Maybe that can be a thing. I definitely agree with you guys on Garrett. You definitely get any decent slot or number 2 receiver that can mesh with Terry. Need someone to stop. You need someone to stop defenses to stop rotating to his side and respect both sides. Yeah. Yeah. But they still scored 30 plus with whoever they had over there. So I'm always I think it's very important to be able to limit teams to 20. I feel confident that Jaden and the Washington offense can score 25 or more. Can we just hold teams to 20, 24? We'll win way more games than losing losing games. We'll win way more games than losses, bro. Real talk. It just got to get to a point where we're not in these high scoring games all the time, man. That's the problem. This defense wasn't able to stop anybody for real. They had some flashes, but they couldn't stop anybody for real.
I mean, we forced how many turnovers against Detroit? They still got 31 points.
Yeah, for real. And look, Myles don't really miss any playing time. Yeah, Myles Garrett is durable too, man. He was hurt. He was playing hurt this year, and he still played pretty much all the games, man. Yeah. Maybe you throw Allen or Payne. Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, so all right, do you think that too? Do you think a first, George, I asked you, do you think a first and third and Allen or Payne can get you Myles Garrett?
I don't think they would take a player, honestly. And I've been listening to a lot of different people on YouTube talking about Washington and talking about the offseason. And one of the guys I respect that has been saying that he doesn't think that there's going to be any kind of a trade market for either Allen or Payne, in part because this is a really good class at defensive line and defensive tackle coming up. And he thinks that for that reason, people are not going to want to take on Allen or Payne in those salaries. So I think, I think the idea that they would take even one of those players back, I just don't think that they can do that. And again, this is the difficulty. The way contracts in the NFL work, it's very hard to take a player back in a deal. It just is. You just don't see it that often because everybody's got their own unique, escalators and bonus structures and this kind of thing. And you just don't see it that often anymore. So I don't think players are anything involved in it. I think what Cleveland is looking for is serious draft compensation to either help rebuild their team in the draft this year or set themselves up for 2026 if they decide to punt on a quarterback at 2, which they might decide to do. I mean, I think a lot of people in this draft are saying they're thinking they're going to take a quarterback unless one of them quarterbacks is taken by somebody else. I think a lot of teams at the top of this draft either like Ward or Sanders, but don't like both of them. And so, if one of those guys get taken, then they're out in terms of quarterback, and they're looking at 2026.
I like this. I'm gonna read this on our Instagram account. Chad Biz said they don't want Allen or Payne. They are in salary cap hell, what George was referring to. Browns would only take picks or young guy with small contract. So, all right, you know what?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because of that statement, because I do like that, Chad. I'm gonna ask this question. Because I know a lot of George and my man Glen, y'all love him. I love him too. I like him too. If say Cleveland said we want Jerzon Newton a first and a third.
Oh God, you had to ask that, didn't you? Oh, now you're. Oh boy, now you're.
It's not hard for me. I don't know. It's not hard for me, but it's not hard for me. But I'm.
I mean, it is for me because I know we didn't get out of Johnny what we thought, but we all had unrealistic expectations for him.
Exactly, Paul. I don't know
Guilty.
what we're doing here.
Guilty, right here. I am guilty. I am guilty.
Look, everybody like, yes. Like,
I am not shirking my responsibility in that. So I still think Johnny Newton's going to be a big time impact player, but I'm seeing what the chat's saying, and I think they're probably right. I think I probably would actually. Darn it, I don't want to, but I probably would actually. And you know what? Given his first season, if that saved us a first round pick in the future, or saved us a second or a third round pick in the future, then we might have got out of Johnny Newton what we needed to get out of him.
Yeah, that is perfect. Allen Payne, Myles Garrett. Are you freaking kidding me? Ooh.
Well, I'll say this: Jonathan Allen, who I was not a big fan of, proved a lot of people wrong, myself included. Coming back from that injury and producing what he did, I got to give it to him. And I've not been a big Jonathan Allen fan, to be honest.
Yeah. I just threw it out there because only because of Chad. That was good. Only because what Chad put out there. He's right.
And Chad's right. Chad is
100%
right. And the Johnny Newton thing is interesting because again, it would be easy to trade that deal. He's a second round pick making, whatever it is next year.
Yeah. I like that, Chad. Thanks, Chad, for that one. That was a good one because he's true. He was right because you're not going to want to give up like you said, George, because you mentioned it. The cap is a problem, and those paying to Allen, they make good money, so it's still going to be a bad issue. But now you got to get on a rookie deal. So now you have to get rid of.
We're lucky Mo's not here because if we got Mo started on the money one of them guys is making.
Yeah, he'd be mad as I don't know what. Hey, he said the JD5 leverage is in full effect. Good players actually want to play in Washington now, like the classic cartoon show. Jaden has no power.
He has no power.
I want you, Carl. I had to put the voice out there for you, man. He's right. Literally, Paul. If Luka gets traded, Newton can get traded. Facts.
Yeah, well, that's that Luka trade. That's the meme where the guy just throws the papers in the air. That's what that is.
What's the question?
Throws the papers in the air.
I got you, Joe. I got you, Taj. So we were all talking about, we were saying first we would trade, obviously Payne or Allen and a draft pick to get to try to get Myles Garrett, but Washington has salary. Not Washington. Cleveland has salary cap issues, so that may not be a possibility. So my man Chad, on our IG chat said this. He was like, they want a younger player with a small contract. And I was like, all right, what about Johnny Newton? Would you put Jazon Newton, a first rounder and a third rounder? Would you trade that for Myles Garrett? So Paul, so Taj, would you trade that? So you can answer the question, homie. Yeah, you said, what is that? I'm Vernon. Oh, you Vernon Davis' cousin. Oh, straight from the city. Oh, yeah.
Vernon Davis. What a player he was. What a mighty
Carl.
he was.
Let him know, Carl.
There's nothing but love for that guy. Nothing but love for that guy.
Vernon, let him know. Let him know. What you got? What else we have here?
And I guess the other question we got to ask is, okay.
What?
Because we talked after this game that we can't let the Philadelphia game color too much. For me it changed a lot of my thinking about what was needed and what wasn't.
Oh shoot!
But we have to ask ourselves what's the hierarchy in terms of positions needed. Mm-hmm. Like what's the most position in need? The next. Because that kind of plays into this too. Because you can argue that Myles edge is the number one need. You can certainly argue that, which makes it easier to make a deal for a guy like Myles Garrett because you're addressing your number one need. But I'm sure other people would say receiver. I'm sure there'd be some people out there would say corner's the number one need. I'd love to. I'm curious as what everybody thinks about that. Like, what's your hierarchy of what's the most needed thing out there for Washington?
Say it again, George. I was reading something. Say that again.
How do you rank the needs for Washington? What's the position they need the most? And then down the line, 5, 6, however many things you think are really needed.
Most defensive end, edge rusher.
Okay.
Because I just think they have to, you have to get constant pressure. So edge rusher, corner. And they need. I feel like personally, we need a ball hawk. You know what? I like that offensive lineman is one, and
Mm-hmm.
I know contrary to what people believe, they need a safety, a ball hawk safety who got range,
And
like
see,
real range.
that's it now. And that's the interesting thing for me is because I swear we've come out of several games this year saying, God bless America, we need this. Or and in another game it'd be something else. And another game it'd be something else. And that's just the nature of what happens
Mhm.
when you've had such bad drafting for 4 years that you look at the roster and you go,
Mhm.
God help us, we need a lot. And they do. So it's like you
Ooh.
say Edge is number one. I ain't going to disagree with that because it absolutely it absolutely is right. But if somebody comes to me and says wide receivers are biggest need because we don't have anybody besides Terry, I don't disagree with that either. If somebody comes to me and says we need corners bad more than we need anything else, I don't disagree with that either. They're talking about what's interesting. Speaking of the Browns, is that if Myles Garrett gets traded, Ward said he might want to be out.
Yeah, you said.
Tell me we
So
couldn't use him? Of course we could.
I got a Taj. This is a good one too, bro. He said, "What if they told you they wanted Mikey since they could be losing their corner too?"
Oh no. We can't
That's
say
a good
Mikey.
one. Now we talking. You know what,
No,
Taj?
no. Got to
You
draw
know
the
what? You
line
know I love my
somewhere.
Michigan guys, right? Yeah, Mikey
Don't
can
do
go
it.
too.
No.
For
Wally,
Myles
we got to
Garrett,
draw the line somewhere, dude.
nah, man. We talk about generational talent, bro.
I
There's
understand, but we don't have. We are struggling in the
yeah.
secondary. You just said it. We need a ball hawk and
Well,
safety, and we need
that's where you got to
corners.
draft. You got to draft. You got to draft eventually. You got to
Oh,
set
we
your
got to
free
draw the
agency.
line
Look,
somewhere.
look, look, look. He's replaceable, bro.
Oh,
You,
I
hey,
can't
hey,
believe
hey,
I'm
hey.
the
Let
one
me say
stick.
this again.
I can't believe
Look,
I'm
look,
the
look.
one
I
that's
love
against it.
Mikey. I love Mikey.
You
He
don't
ain't
love him
Dion.
that much.
Look, look, no, listen to me. He ain't Dion though, bro. He ain't Dion.
No, but
He not Revis. What are we doing here, George? He's not them dudes. He's good. He ain't them dudes though.
what did we say in training camp? We said that Mikey was the best corner on this team in training camp, like
Yeah, the
after two
Lattimore. You got a
practices.
whole. You got a whole. Lattimore gonna have a whole season, so don't worry.
Mikey is Mikey is
Okay,
a
Mikey
is
at his best. Let me make this easy for you. Mikey at his best isn't better, even close to Myles Garrett at 85%.
but we are already giving up a lot. I mean, we
Mikey
got to
at
draw the
his
line somewhere.
best ain't even close to Myles Garrett. Let me make it even
I
this. I even make it this easy for you. What makes a secondary better?
pass rush.
There you go.
I
You
I
answering.
can't believe
You're
I'm the
answering.
one.
You're answering more.
Oh,
You're answering. You just answering
oh.
your. You're answering your own questions for real. You're answering. You're like you're indirectly.
I've got to draw the. I got to look.
Mikey too.
I understand all that, but Mikey has found money. We thought he was a slot corner. He proved he could play outside corner. That's literally like looking on the ground and finding $100 bill.
Hey, but you talk. All right, if you have Reggie, all right, this is I guess Mark. If you're talking about Reggie White, this is what you're really doing for real. I'm gonna tell you what you're really doing. Reggie White versus Carlos Rogers. Who are you taking? This is what you're really doing right
Yeah,
now. I hope you know this is what you're actually doing. You're pretty much
I
saying you're taking Carlos Rogers over Reggie White. That's what you're saying. You do know that, right?
uh,
Like that's what you're saying indirectly.
I gotta draw. But you gotta draw
But
the.
no, no,
I'm
I
drawing the
want you
line
to
there.
know what you're like. I want you. No, I want to say
You
like
know,
you're
listen. I
basically
wanted to
saying
give up Johnny Newton, and you know how
no,
much I love
no, no,
Johnny
no.
Newton.
Like he get it. No, right, Paul. Like I'm trying so George can understand this. It's Reggie White
Ugh.
against Carlos Rogers.
No, I
A
mean when you
good
put it
corner.
like
Carlos is a
that,
good
when you put it
corner.
like that.
Carlos is a good corner. He's not a bad corner. He's a good corner. But Reggie
And here
White.
I am. I'm going against my own thing, saying, "Well, we might be turning the roster over, and some of your favorites might be going." And now here I am acting precious about
Yeah,
Mikey
look,
Sanders.
and
Still,
look,
there you
I'm a
go.
Michigan. Hey, Todd, I'm the Michigan fan. George acted like he went to VCU or something. George acted like
I know what I'm doing. I know I'm going against exactly what I said on this show either last week or 2 weeks ago about we can't get precious about some of these guys because some of them are going to
the
go. And
only
here I am
untouchable is Jaden.
doing
Let's keep it.
exactly that. Yeah,
And
you're right, Taj.
oh man, maybe Terry.
You're right,
No,
Taj.
I'm not trading for Terry. Though. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. That's when I stopped it. I ain't trading him for no Terry though. Jay needs his weapons. That I do know.
But no, Taj is right though.
Yeah,
There
no,
is
that's all I'm
there.
saying, man. That's
I
all
know
I'm saying.
Timothy. I know Timothy.
That's all I'm saying. I just want you to understand,
I
like,
just went
and I
back
love
exactly on what
Mikey,
I said.
and I love Mikey.
Yeah, I know.
I love Mikey. Like Mikey is my guy. I think like Mikey's gonna be a Pro Bowler. That is not even. I think Mikey's gonna be a Pro Bowler. I'm just saying when we're talking about Myles Garrett is generational. When we talk about generational, so compared to a Pro Bowler, that's like that's like
No, I gotta. Yeah,
that's like Saquon. You worry
I gotta
about
take. I gotta own up and take the L on that one.
yeah, what I mean that's like worried about Daniel Jones when you like not that mean, but you got Saquon. You worry
Yeah,
about
no.
that. You know what I'm saying? That's all
Let's
I'm
slow
saying.
down here. Mikey's a really good player.
I didn't say that. I'm messing
Mikey's
with
been
you.
an
I'm messing.
unbelievable
Hey,
asset this
I'm
year.
messing
Let's
with
just.
you. I'm messing
Whoa,
with you.
hold up there.
I'm messing with you, George. I'm messing with you.
No,
Hey,
and Paul, that's it. This is why this is such a difficult conversation because I never in my wildest dreams did I think this team was going to be in the Final Four of the NFL, and they were. And and it does. It absolutely changes everything, and it leaves everything up to open to interpretation and modifying what you're thinking because this was a rebuild. For Wole, this was a rebuild too.
yeah, it's a
But
rebuild. I
it's
was
not
on
a
Travis
rebuild;
Hunter
it's a
ball.
recalibration.
Travis Hunter ball. I was on Travis. That's what I was saying. Oh, the Browns probably get Travis Hunter too in the low. They probably will get Travis Hunter. Just saying. They're gonna lose all those. If you're talking about any cornerback, they'll probably get Travis Hunter. He can play both. The next 3 years are critical. We can win now with money to spend. I agree.
That's right.
Ronald. I totally agree.
Because if you can win one in the next few years, even when you pay Jaden, you can still get players to come here because they know he can win one for them. And that's what the Chiefs have done. Of course, they got Mahomes at what now is a ludicrously great deal.
Yeah.
And all that. But that's what the Chiefs have done. People are doing what we see in the NBA where they take the minimum and go play with somebody that can win them a ring. That's happening with Kansas City. That's how they got all these daggum players. And they've drafted well too.
Yeah, they drafted one. They got bargain players. They got like the players playing at the end of their
And
career.
Taj, you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
The Browns are not going to get. There's not going to be pennies for dollar trade.
They're not just going to give us Myles Garrett,
happening.
man. Like Myles Garrett is he's too dominant, man. Like I don't
yes.
like. He's too dominant. You have to like offensive game plan to take him away. Like, yeah, man. Like this ain't. We never had a dude like that. We haven't had a dude like that in such a long time. Like you.
I mean, you got to go back to the glory days, honestly.
Yeah,
When they had
real talk.
Manley.
Real talk. It's not even like the years when they were so good. You got to go into the glory days, like you do. It's not even like LeVar was good, but you weren't game planning for LeVar. As great as Sean, this is a different type of beast. Sean Taylor is like a beast. I love Sean Taylor, but it's a different type of animal who really wrecks your whole game throughout. You know what I mean? He wrecks your whole game. He dominates the game. Like he literally dominates the game. Question: will Myles Garrett get us over the hump? I think so. I would say yes. Personally, I say yes.
I mean, knowing that hump is Philadelphia is going to be tough because they're always going to be scheming to add and Howie's got to get his flowers for what that roster he's built.
Go ahead.
I have confidence in Adam Peters that if we make a deal like that, we're still going to find good players in free agency in the draft to get us there. So
Charles, man,
if we get Myles, I'm gonna be talking Super Bowl all 2025. I'm gonna be talking about Super Bowl all year.
Yeah, I would say. Oh, yeah, either. No, Carl. I mean, I'm not talking draft, Carl. You messing me up. I was about to do it though. I know who I want though. Nah, it's like Jalen Carter, but better. But way better. But yeah, Jalen Carter's an animal. Like he wrecks stuff. He wrecks the game. But
should
better.
Have never got to Philadelphia. He should have never got to Philadelphia in that draft either. God bless America.
Yeah, because the rest of the league is dumb. The Eagles only the Eagles are the only team that draft right. I swear the Eagles draft right. That's what I hate about that team. They draft right though. I do. They draft right. They do. Look at the corners they draft.
They do.
I knew once it got to them, like they gonna draft. They need corners. They're gonna draft like the best dudes available. And I was like, watch they go to Philadelphia. Because teams be doing stupid crap. They do all like the Eagles, like the way they draft is like they know if you're good, they don't play with it. While Washington is like they play with it. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. Before Adam Peters, they play with it.
Yeah, before Adam Peters.
But I will say, like, dang, that's a shoot. I'm trying to think like somebody was mentioning it, like Terry McLaurin. No, I wouldn't trade Terry McLaurin. I can't. But anyway,
No, not Terry.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. That I'm not. That's like my stance. Can't trade Terry. There was a comment that I saw. I do want to go back to it. We answered that question over the hump. But yeah, we'll go stay there. Over the hump for me. Yeah, I think it definitely goes if they get over the hump. I mean, just because you mentioned the Eagles, George, about you still gotta go through the Eagles. I feel like what makes Washington makes them more dangerous against the Eagles is now they finally got a dude that you can just basically really line up and beat alignment on the Eagles. You don't got to scheme for this guy to get past them. Like now you got a guy who could beat a Lane Johnson, who you can move around the D line. I mean, move around the D line to get a matchup. He's that type of dude. Like, he's gonna get double teamed. That opens things up for Allen and Payne, to be real with you. Now somebody else is getting double teamed, not Allen and Payne. You know what I mean? Now they can be better because this guy with so much force. Teams will be worried about him. You know what I'm saying? Because we hear all the time the game plans to double team the interior. Obviously they're not good enough to be double teams on a regular. Okay, they're not. You're not going to have Myles Garrett one-on-one. I don't care what it is. Like, you don't want that. So now it's to a point where, shoot, yeah, we're going to be over the hump. I'm sorry. This team is over the hump with Myles Garrett. He does so much for your defense.
It's the butterfly effect with him is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. You know what I'm saying? Eagles draft well, then trade for the talent because they always, facts. Then they use the free agent. Yep, true. This is true. Very true.
Although the good news is some of these young players that the Eagles have drafted and found, they're going to have to get paid at some point.
And they could, and I like this, Todd. This is possible, bro. This could definitely happen. This can definitely happen.
Oh, Khalil Mack. That'd be a free agent signing.
Yeah, free agent. Yep.
That might not cost that much money either.
Nope. He's older. Because he's older too. Yep. Also, about the bigger Bosa brother going to be a free agent too. He says retirement, or they're going to probably release him. It's one or the other. Said they could trade Terry. Yeah, don't do that to me. You never know. But it could happen though. I would be mad, but I would get it. I'd get over it though. Yeah, with the most utilized rookie DB. Yep. What do you guys think of his play this? Oh, it's amazing, man. He was amazing.
Oh, Samford still was.
He was amazing.
Look, he's a rookie, so he got burned some, sure. But you look at that. You look at that Philadelphia game in Philadelphia, and he did a hell of a job. I mean, that was if they had won that game, we would have been talking about how great the defense played, and he would have been a big reason why.
Yeah.
Samford still was magnificent in that game. And he's just, like I said, that's why before I was browbeaten into agreeing, I wanted to draw the line with him because it's like it's hard to find these doggone good corners. It feels like.
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, all corners get beat, man. It happens. He wasn't beat thoroughly this year. He won way more than he lost to me in games, and he played. We saw against the Lions how well he played against the Lions in the NFC divisional game. The way Mikey played this year just lets you know next year he's going to be one of them. So yeah, I understand why George just favors him. I do get it. Like I get why George was like, oh, he's untouchable. But what we talking about, man? We in the age where Luka Doncic got traded 25. What we talking about here, man? It's a different world now, man. Young boys getting traded 24/7, man. What we talking here?
Like, that's true.
Yeah, they're getting traded, man. People, you know what I mean? These organizations trading you. They don't care. They love Mikey, but the Browns want him. Peace. Hey, man, I ain't holding you. The Browns do want Mikey. You can go. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad for him. He's in the state of Ohio, being a Michigan. Being a dude from played in Michigan. You're going to Ohio. I understand that. That'd be a blower. But hey,
Max Crosby's another one. That would not be a bad. That's not a bad backup
he's
player.
A guy. Yeah, I would say, and he's young. I think Max Crosby may be younger. I've said this before on fire. Like I am pro Myles Garrett, and I know Myles Garrett is the better player. But I feel like Max Crosby is the better fit. I don't know why I be feeling that way. I be feeling like he's a better fit though.
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of merit to that view.
I think he's a
I think there's a
better
lot of merit
fit.
to that view, and he's a lot younger because I think he was. Well, he's
He would
not
be
okay. He's
cheaper.
not as young as I thought, but he's going to turn 28 this August.
That's
So he's not as young
younger.
as I thought, but he's
That's
still younger.
That's young. That's still young. That's 5 years. That's different. That's 5 years of prime football. Which I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take Max Crosby in a second. I don't know, man. Him and DC scares me though too at the same time. So I won't lie to you.
What effort could you be referring to?
Just saying, him and DC.
I thought he had a wife. Am I wrong about that?
It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter either. It still scares me.
Don't be going there. Let's not be going down that road, mister.
No, that's not. Yeah, I'm just saying. It's about him and DC kind of scares me. If the Browns want Mikey, you send him to get Garrett.
No, I know. I've given up. I've given up. I've given up. And Wole's right. And y'all are right. I'm wrong.
All of a sudden, the edge rusher
that.
market looking pretty good. Yeah, the edge rusher market. I mean, if they really want that's what I was saying about even a Dante Fowler. A lot of folks like, we need to get Dante Fowler. I'm like, yo, Khalil Mack on the market. I'm taking Khalil Mack, and I'm not worried about Dante Fowler. He's not even a thing to me. Like he's not. I know. But I know that Dante Fowler has a great relationship with Dan Quinn, but he's not a thing to me. We're talking about who I'm going to value more. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take Fowler. You can go, and I'm going to take Khalil Mack. If I'm going to pay an older player, like I'm going to say older, 31. If I'm going to pay a 30-year-old, I'm going to pay Khalil Mack. He'll be the 30-year-old I pay for. If truth be told, between him and Bosa, if I'm gonna sign an older player, I'm gonna sign Bosa in San Diego. I mean, San Diego for the Chargers, for the LA Chargers. I'm gonna sign Bosa. I'm not. I understand Fowler had a good year, but those dudes get constant pressure, even at their age now. Yeah, he said the money has to work. Brady always took a cut. He did. The Brady always took a cut to make the team better, and they won chips off that concept. Yeah, so true. So true.
And Brady also, let's remember, he was also married to a supermodel who was worth $500 million at times. He could afford to do that. So not everybody's got a supermodel wife that's worth $500 million.
These are all true. These are all facts. All things can be true. All things can be true. Facts. We are at the point. We signed the better players, not the discount. Yes, agreed.
That's right. That's right. Now, and again, we're a destination now. Yeah. To be sitting here talking about people want to come to Washington after the last 20 years of what we've had to put up with is just mind blowing.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like what? Look at us now, man. We are that team now. This is the destination. You know what I'm saying? It's back to what it used to be, right? How it used to be. Like folks used to want to come here, and not just and not because we had a lot of money. Because initially, folks did want to come here with Daniel Snyder, but it's because we had a lot of money and he's willing to just pay you. But now people just want to come here because they see that this is like a winning culture. We're cultivating a winning culture, which is dope. You know what I'm saying? Which is dope. So I want to ask this question: like getting Myles Garrett, could that because Ray used to say all sustained success. Getting a Myles Garrett, training for Myles Garrett, is that putting us in the route of having sustained success? I'm gonna ask you that, George.
I mean, I would, if you're talking about sustained success being that we're going to be
consistently
in the hunt
like
every
year, like the Chiefs, consistently.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard to get to that level, but I don't think we're going to be far off.
Okay.
I mean, because I think if you're talking, the
like
way sustained success is,
even the Eagles, even the Eagles, like even the Eagles too.
The Eagles, because look, the Eagles for about 5 years in a row now have either been in the playoffs or come to the last week in the playoffs. And like the only year, the COVID year don't count. Don't count the COVID year. I don't either. I don't. You shouldn't either.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. If we're basically going to the last week of the season where we're either in the playoffs or we got a chance to make the playoffs, that's sustained success to me.
Mm-hmm.
And Myles Garrett certainly doesn't hurt that at all. It helps it. So yeah, I think that thinking about what Ray says, because Ray's right about that. And Mo talked about that too quite a bit. Yeah, and I think absolutely. I think yes. I think Myles Garrett would certainly be a part of that because again, the other thing is you get Myles Garrett, you're sending a signal to everybody else. This team's serious about getting a championship.
True. Good point.
And
We have the golden arm. Yeah, we got the
golden
golden
goose. You
goose.
got that right. He
JD5
is the
laying
golden
live.
goose. He's laying the golden eggs.
Well, so of
Woo!
course, Garrett can get to the Super Bowl more in the NFC than get past. Yep, that's true. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes calls him Jordan. Yeah, I get you. That's true.
No, it's like, yeah, I mean, look,
That's
we,
true.
we talked about it the other week. Look at the landscape in the NFC. The San Francisco, I don't know. They've been really good, but if they give Brock Purdy a long-term deal, I'm kind of writing a line through him because I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Tampa
Who's
Bay's
that?
pretty good, but I got questions there too
Uh-huh.
about them. They're decent, but they've had issues with
You said Tampa
injuries. They've
Bay?
had issues with coaching.
You said Tampa
To
Bay?
be honest,
Tampa?
yeah,
Oh, they fall. They're gonna. I mean, they're probably gonna lose. God, was it a good one?
yeah. They're. I mean,
Goblins.
and I like Jalen McMillan, but it's like you just go down the list. Green Bay's not consistent enough. Jordan Love's not consistent enough. He's got to be consistent and good consistent before I'm going to buy them as a contender. Detroit has peaked or hit their ceiling. They might have one more chance next year, but they got to do something at quarterback at some point because they're not going to get but so far with Jared Goff. I think that's what this year proved. Minnesota, we'll see. We don't know if J.J. McCarthy can be the guy or not. We'll find out. Maybe he can be. We'll see.
I'm a Michigan guy. JJ gonna be like.
When you look at this landscape, Philadelphia's the one. That's who we got to get past.
All right. So I'm gonna be real with you. Their timetable, their time is clicking. Is ticking. They're not. Their time is coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like their window isn't, but so much for real, for real. Like it's not. Their time to strike is now. That's why they obviously went and got Saquon Barkley. They know, like they have to. Their time isn't as. Their window is closing. You know, I don't even to be real with you. I don't think AJ Brown gonna be there for like the next. Like AJ Brown ain't gonna probably be there for like I think you would get a year of AJ Brown after this season. I don't think that relationship.
I mean, that's the other thing. Was Saquon a 1-year deal? I couldn't even remember. I couldn't even tell you.
He's a 2-year deal. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I think he's a 2-year deal. I could be wrong.
So they've got one more year of Saquon, and then he probably actually goes somewhere else because somebody give him the bag. You'd think.
I think Philly will pay him. Depending. I mean, he did. I mean, if they were smart, they would like. I'm trying to look up his deal now. If they were smart, they would try to sign. I would sign him to an extension now.
But don't you? But remember, you got Jalen Carter. You got some of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like
you got to pay them too down.
Yeah. So I don't think contract. What's his contract? Details on his contract. He is signed to a 27. I think he had 3. Yeah, he has like 3 more years on this. Oh
wow,
right.
That was really smart by Philadelphia. I hate saying that.
I want to say 3 more years on this deal. Is this right?
If it's 27, he's got this year, next year, and the following year.
Yeah, 3-year deal. Yeah, he's on 3-year deal. Yep, 3-year deal.
Okay, so he's got 2 more years. So that's pretty smart.
Damn Eagles. I mean, but even that though is like again, it's without like it's the other players though. Like I feel like it's not Saquon. I feel like I really don't think that AJ Brown gonna be there. That I don't think he's gonna be there. I think with you all that talking, he's just we saw the same thing with Stephon Diggs. Eventually he's gonna be out of there. He ain't gonna be there that long.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
He said Lattimore has played 7, 9 games the last 3 seasons. You can't trust him to be healthy. Trade Mikey, and you might not have a secondary either. Well, that's true, but usually when you have a great defense, like a defensive line, can make your secondary better. Look at look with the Detroit Lions. Look how much improved they were when when Hutchinson was there, and then without Hutchinson. You know, so I'm just letting you know, like
night and day.
You got a pass rush. Your cornerback, your cornerback play don't gotta be thorough. It's gotta be decent. It don't gotta be thorough. But yeah,
I mean, Philly didn't have the greatest corners when they won the Super Bowl against the Patriots and when they almost won the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, but they had a pass rush that was thorough.
See, the Giants won the Super Bowl, beat the Patriots. It was about the pass rush. It wasn't the corner. It wasn't the secondary. It was that defensive line with Strahan, OC. Like it was about that. It was not the secondary. It was the pressure. So just letting you know, like you can get away with it if you build a vaunted defensive line.
Good point, Ronald.
Yeah, Detroit lost their. Yep, that's a very good point, man.
I know y'all going to be
I
mad
can't.
about
Yeah,
this.
you can't name none of them Giants dudes. I know. That's how bad
That's
that
right.
secondary
No,
is.
that's the truth, Paul.
That's my point. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
the truth, Paul. By the way, Kevin O'Connell just got Coach of the Year, and I know that's going to make everybody mad, but Minnesota getting 14 wins out of that roster is a miracle.
That's trash. That's
It's a miracle.
No,
Him and Brian Flores.
See, no, it's not a miracle. What we did was
Yes,
a miracle.
it is.
Compared to what Dan Quinn did.
Look, that Minnesota roster don't have a lot of talent.
George, go to the beginning of the year.
George, quarterback.
George, I need you to go to the beginning of the year and look at where Washington was supposed to win. How many games Washington was supposed to win compared to Minnesota?
Look at their over/under was 5.5. They were supposed to be as bad as we were.
George, look at that. Look. George.
I know it.
Roster turnover. They have talented players in Minnesota. They got talented players in Minnesota.
I'm telling you, Brian Flores made magic with less talent. They
got talented players. They got two number one. No one said
they got two number one receivers.
Yeah.
And what else they got?
In the beginning of the season, two number one receivers. They have Kevin O'Connell. Defense, they drafted well on the defense. They got players.
That defense is okay.
They got the kid from Alabama, right?
They
got the kid from Alabama, too. No, they got players, bro. They got players.
Yeah.
They got players.
I know I'm alone on this.
Yeah, you're definitely alone on this one, buddy. You definitely
Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores should be the next.
But I did I said it, I do feel proud about myself about Kevin O'Connell, though. Like I said this.
Yeah, no, you will. Well, yeah. Because you do.
I remember me and Leg used to have this discussion when I used to cover games. I was like, yo, this dude, when Ron let him go, when I found out Ron let him go, I was like, this Ron is an idiot. That's when I knew he was an idiot. When he chose Scott Turner over him, I was like, this is an idiot.
Yeah, that kind of worries me about Aaron Glen that he hired Scott Turner to his staff. I'm kind of worried for Aaron Glen now because I like that hire, but that kind of scares me.
He may fail now. Philly reminds me a little like 49ers with Brock. They wanted him to do just enough to facilitate the offense and run behind. Yep, Christian. I like that comparison and lean on the defense.
I won't agree with that for this reason.
I agree with that.
They didn't have CMC when they got to Super Bowl 2 years ago. They had Myles Sanders, and he was really good.
Who are you talking about?
When they got to the Super Bowl the first time, Don Hurts.
Myles Sanders was really good. Myles Sanders is really good though.
Myles Sanders, yeah, but
he was top. No, he was top. Myles Sanders was he had 1,300 rushing yards. You should go back to the stats of that year. Myles,
I will, but Jalen Hurts was really good that first year they got to the Super Bowl. He was he was great in that Super Bowl.
But you could say the same thing.
They got the ball one more time.
Yeah, he was good. But you could say, real talk, we could say the same thing about, you may not like him, but what's name was really good at what's his face? I don't like him. Sorry, Brock Purdy was really good at points. Like other than this season, he was really good.
He was, but ultimately, here's the problem with Brock Purdy.
And it's not even Christian McCaffrey.
You can't blame that last.
And it's not Christian. And real talk, it's not even a Christian McCaffrey thing because he even throws well when Christian's not there. It's more of, I'm real with y'all. Like, it's not a Christian McCaffrey thing. He really struggles more when Trent Williams is not out there.
That's right.
It's not a running
Trent
thing.
Williams. We all know how good Trent Williams is.
But it's more because he gets time. Go ahead, though.
My problem with Brock Purdy is even if you can't blame him for losing that last Super Bowl because of the things that happened, he had chances to make plays to overcome and he couldn't make them.
I want to say I'm not a Brock Purdy fan. Like I'm putting that out there. I'm not.
No, I understand.
I'm just saying, I get the comparison because I don't think he's all right. That's mean. He ain't that bad, bro. He ain't that bad. He ain't that bad, dog.
No, I'm not.
He ain't that bad. He ain't that bad. Like he ain't great, but he ain't that bad.
He's got arm strength, Brock Purdy, which Heineke don't have arm strength.
Yeah, I'm not going. I ain't going there. I ain't a Brock Purdy supporter, but I ain't gonna go there.
Oh man.
Yeah, I agree. They both system quarterbacks. That's my point. I think they both.
No, that's fair. No, and that's a fair comment. Because to me, when they made the Super Bowl the first time with him, I thought was really, really good.
Jalen Hurts. No, he surprised me his first year. Like that first year.
Yeah.
That second year. That year when he started, like he surprised because where he came from as a passer to get to that point, he surprised me.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, he is very. But also, this is the difference, and it's similar actually. Jalen Hurts has never been in a situation where he's had like a mid offensive line. So he always has time because he holds the ball. He always has time in the pocket. It's not like he gets the ball out quick. He's not that type of quarterback. He needs to get a lot of time in the pocket. I actually want to see Jalen Hurts in a situation where he's under duress. When he's under duress, then I feel like you get to know if the quarterback is like when Jaden's under duress, he still make plays. That's when I know Jaden's a quarterback. Like he's still good.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. That's why I always mention Tampa. Tampa treats him with no respect. So typically he's always under duress because Bowles is like, I don't trust you. I'm blitzing you, and he always, not always, most of the time he struggles against Todd Bowles defenses. So that's why when I look at Jalen, I like to see him. When I don't know he's improved when he throws under duress more, because if you got time in the pocket, you're supposed to be easy to go through your reads and find somebody. Cornerbacks can't cover that long.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's why I'm like, we need Myles Garrett so we can mess all that up.
That's right.
We can screw all that up so you won't be in a pocket forever, sitting there. He can literally against us. He can literally sit down, get back up, and then throw the football if he wanted to. He can sit down Indian style, then get back up and then throw the football. That's how much time we give that dude in the pocket. Just saying. I'm annoyed. Thank you. Yeah, yes, Paul. Facts, big facts. I know it's annoying. It's annoying. That's why we need this Myles. That's why I'm like Myles Garrett. Come around, baby. Let's make it happen.
Come on, he said, "Come on down.
Come on down. Stop
Price
playing."
is Right style.
With VC, what? Who? See who did? V's. What happened?
I don't know. They're about to give the MVP out on the NFL honors.
Oh, you already know about that. You know. Oh. I was gonna go to. It's gonna go to Josh Allen. I already know it's gonna go to. I'm gonna let y'all know right now.
No, I hope it goes as well. It ought to go to Saquon Barkley, but it won't. I'll be mad about that.
Go to Josh Allen. I know. I know what time it is. I'm not going to play around with it. It's going to Josh Allen.
I mean, at least Saquon Barkley got Offensive Player of the Year.
Verse for
what Verse did for the Rams. Verse was amazing for the Rams. He got pressures like crazy.
Yeah, he has so much pressure. Such a beast.
I knew that. I was on with the draft shows and with Haku Long. I said the Rams had a great draft, and that was one of the reasons they had a great draft.
What school did Verse go to?
Florida State.
That's what I know. It's Florida State. He's a beast. He's such a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and they do want to, and that's the thing, Ronald. That's the key is they want to be here. Yeah. They want to be here. So I just hope. What I hope is we find some way to make it palatable for the Browns to trade him because right now it's not. And I think that's the big obstacle.
That's true. Very good point. All right, y'all. You know what? We're about to close this show out. This has been a great show. Look, man, I told y'all we're going to still get y'all banging content. Don't matter. The season's over. Still getting content here. We still getting content. We still got more to talk about. Man, we get the drafts coming up, man. We saw that. Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, Tim, we saw that, man. Yeah, we saw that, Kevin. George is a fan of it, though. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna get you Carl.
I know I'm alone on that.
It's okay. We got look. I got George.
Here's the other thing.
Question for Carl, real quick.
I'm ready. I'm definitely ready to answer this one.
What y'all think about Shador? For me, yes, he was shining when he had time in the pocket, but more often than not, he was under pressure. So his transition to the NFL. Let's see if he can. He was a. What? He was a. Jaden.
Oh, you're right.
Josh Allen gets better.
I'll be darned.
Huh? Josh Allen got it right.
Yeah, he did get it.
Yeah, told you. JD5 O-line gets better.
Saquon.
He will be a beast even more. But yeah, you want to speak on this, right, George?
Shador Sanders is the quarterback.
It has O-line.
I would want.
Say hold O-line. Go ahead, George. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because Shador Sanders is the quarterback I would want out of this draft.
Mm-hmm.
I watched plenty of Colorado, and yeah, there were some times when he struggled under pressure. But he could get outside the pocket, make plays. He can make plays off schedule. He can make just about every throw. And here's the critical thing with me. Being Prime's son, he is way more ready to be a professional athlete than a lot of these guys. It's the same thing with Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes being the son of a baseball player who was a pro for 21 years, you get an experience that just not many other people have because not many other people are the kids of professional players. Shador Sanders is going to know what it's all about from word go. He's got the right mentality for it. Look at all the pressure that was on him. He goes to Jackson State. Everyone goes, "Oh my God, why is he going to Jackson State?" Well, he's playing for his dad. People were like, "Oh, he can't make the step up to the Big 12." Well, it was the Pac-12, but now the Big 12. He can't make that step up. There was all this pressure on him and Dion. And you look at what they produced this last year, and you look at, and here's the key: he's not It's not like Kyle Trask, who only looked like an NFL quarterback when he was throwing to Kyle Pitts. Shedeur Sanders looked like an NFL quarterback even when he wasn't throwing to Travis Hunter. I'm telling y'all, Shedeur Sanders has been the guy. He's been the guy for me for at least a year. I want no part of Cam Ward. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I am not a Cam Ward guy because it's going to be a roller coaster with him.
I mean, I like.
And I don't know if anybody can smooth out his rough edges and rein his worst impulses in. Maybe Dayball could, because you could argue he did it with Josh Allen. But for me, Shedeur Sanders is the guy. He's the quarterback in this draft I want. I'm one of those people. If I was at the top of the draft and I wasn't going to get Shedeur Sanders, I'd punt on quarterback this year and start looking at 26 and start maneuvering for 26.
I mean, I know who the best player in this draft is. Y'all know who the best player in this draft is.
I'm a Sanders guy all the way. I've been a Sanders guy all the way for at least a year.
Good point.
It happens every now and then, Timothy.
Mine said, where is me on the next level?
Not me.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I don't really be like Shedeur. I like Shedeur. I follow Shedeur since Jackson State, so I kind of like I've been in on Shedeur for a minute, and I think he throws a great deep ball. He's accurate. When he gets pressure, though, that is a thing. I won't lie to y'all, that is a thing. So depending on what situation, I do think that whoever drafts him has to put him in a situation where he's not seeing a trash offensive line. But also, he's had that. The good thing about that is, though, too, while in Colorado, he's experienced having a bad offensive line, so he kind of I feel like he can navigate through it a little bit better than some of these other quarterbacks, because Colorado didn't have like a great offensive line compared to some of these other big powerhouse schools, right? But I will say, like, I don't really be worried about quarterback, because the best player in college football was in Colorado, but he was Travis Hunter. So I don't really, for real talk, both players aren't even close to Travis Hunter. They're not. Like, if you want to grade them out, they're not. And that doesn't mean they're bad quarterbacks. They're just not close to him. And you can put that on any position. You can put that on him at cornerback or him at wide receiver.
He's him at both spots.
That's what I'm talking about. If you want to say cornerback, they're not better. Him at cornerback, they're not even close to him in their position as quarterback.
I mean, it can't happen, but what I wouldn't do to have Travis Hunter in our secondary. Oh my God.
You can't tell me nothing, bro. You can't tell me nothing. Yeah. Oh, I would love this, man.
Please.
I love this. Give me both, bro. Give me Mac
I'll
and
tell you,
Garrett.
I didn't even think about the Khalil Mack thing, but that's a great point. And honestly,
Garrett. Oh, Carter for Penn State, bro.
Oh yeah,
I won't even lie to you. Yeah, them dudes ain't better. They're not close to them. Carter off one. When I saw what he did with one hand, bro, I was already done.
And the good news is Abdul Carter ain't gonna fall, but to no later than 3. So we're not gonna have a Jalen Carter situation with him.
I won't even hold you. Like, I knew about I didn't until when I watched that game. I was like, yo, this dude is wrecking the line with one arm. Yeah.
Paul, I'll tell you right now, I think JD5 will either be the second or third choice to be MVP. If he's any higher than, say, 6 or 7 to 1, run to the window and bet him.
Yeah,
seriously. Because to me, he shouldn't be any higher than 4 or 5 to 1.
I ain't gonna lie to you,
next year be MVP.
Man, I think he may be better. And it's hard for me to say this.
He
may be better than him. Like, I ain't see what I saw that day.
I just want to make sure lightning's not going to strike Wole, and I want to finish the show.
It's okay. It's all
that day. He's good though. Abdul Carter is
that day. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I saw
Penn State,
I don't know about
defensive players.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Still, the best player in the draft to me is Travis Hunter, but that dude impressed the bejesus out of me. I watched. I was like, "We doing this with one arm?" Wow. Like, I mean, you playing against and Notre Dame usually got a good line, and you doing this with one arm, and they got a good line. I was like, bro, you're impressive, man. Yeah, Carter too. Yeah, I think it's Jaden. I mean, we'll see. I think there's so many. Like, it's hard to beat out the Lamars of the world because their stats. It's gonna be hard. But yeah, he'll definitely be in the running. I mean, I can't say it's a guarantee, but I feel like he's in a higher end. So I would say Jaden next year. I expect him to be in a finalist. That's fair to say. That's finalist.
I mean,
But you know what? I
look
don't
at
like.
the way he finished the season.
Yeah, I like the way
He
finished
was
the season.
absolutely on fire.
Yeah, but see,
Finished the
that's the thing.
season.
Like, I like to be like, if we're like, it's like the stock market. So where is the individual? Where is he leaning towards? Yes, top 5 easily. Maybe even to your point, maybe being the MVP. But it's just, we said the same thing about real talk. We folks were saying the same thing about what's the name? CJ Stroud. You know what I mean?
Well, like I say, CJ Stroud redeemed his whole year with that
Yeah, the
playoff in the
postseason.
playoffs.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like,
Because
finishing, because it just lets you know how hard it is to be successful in the NFL at that level. At that level.
they had injuries, and he did not get a lot of help this year.
Yeah, but I'm
CJ
saying, but even
Stroud.
that though, he had injuries, but he wasn't looking good if you watch this game. He just wasn't looking like CJ Stroud.
That's true. It's just
Yeah, so
there were reasons for that, and in the playoffs, he was sublime. And without that BS call against Kansas City, they might have knocked Kansas City
and
out.
he had the same team, but he basically had the same team he had all year. He just turned it up in the postseason.
Yeah.
He basically had the same team he had all year. He's turned it up in the postseason. I mean, for most of in the beginning of the season, when I was saying that, the reason why I was saying that in the beginning of the season, Joe Mixon was doing most of the work and he was killing. But CJ Stroud, so he had the run game. He just wasn't CJ Stroud. So, but now he's back. So, could be different, but at the end of the day, well, CJ Stroud is real level-headed too, man. So I don't know. I think he has CJ Stroud's. I think they got similar mindsets. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I think they got similar mindsets. You hear them talk, how they talk about each other because they're friends. They're similar.
We got to get JD. We got to get JD5 a running back that we can count on.
They just got to take the pressure off of him.
Like the guy you want, Trayvon Henderson. Let me get on that bandwagon.
I want Trayvon Henderson like a mud. I think 29.
Hopewell, Virginia's own.
Yeah. JD. So does CJ a killer? He a killer. Just a different way. He a killer like that. I hate Ohio State dudes. Don't get twisted. He a killer. I'm gonna give him flowers. He a killer. It's just different. They're just done differently. That's all. Yeah. I want Daniels to have exclusive rights to it only. He gave away the Chico. Yeah, man. Caleb Johnson. I watch Caleb Johnson, Caleb George. Yeah, all right, yeah. Paul, keep watching him. Hit me up later. I want to know how
I will be. I'm going to be looking into all
last
these
question.
guys.
I'm back and get your question. Do you think that more QBs, rookies may do the Yeah, I think so.
How about veterans?
Definitely.
How about everybody? Shouldn't everybody be doing it?
I think so, Carl. Yeah, he got the cheat code. You were referring about cheat code with this. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
People will be copying. They will be copying.
To. Seriously. Not just rookies either.
No, not just rookies.
Some of these veteran quarterbacks.
Veteran quarterbacks will be doing it now. Yes. I can guarantee even his own homies are doing it in terms of CJ Stroud and Carolina. What's my guy? Carolina.
Oh, Bryce Young.
Bryce Young will be doing it too. I'm positive. I'm positive all of them are doing it. So yeah, they're definitely doing it.
I mean, Jade Daniels again. Some of the things he was saying at media day, it's like, not only did we get a superstar, his mind is so on point. It's how did we get this lucky? I don't know.
We look, man. It's called, man. The guys wanted to bless us, man. They did. You know what I mean? They did. They did, man. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for it, man. Because look, I mean, he's a level-headed kid, smart. And he just and what I like about him, like everybody said in the chat, and you said, George, he got better, every week. But I mean, he got weak at the end of the season. Like he got better at the end of the season.
He was putting the numbers up at the end of. It's why
everybody said he wasn't throwing for three. He was throwing for 300 yards when it counted. He was doing that in the postseason when it counted. So he gets credit for man. I can't wait to see him in the off season, knowing what he experienced, knowing the league, what it was. Man. It is. Oh yeah, you said that.
I mean, the Washington tweeted out a touchdown reel of every touchdown that he either threw or ran in this year, and some of them. Just going back to some of them throws he was making. You just shake your head. You're like, you can't believe it. Some of the throws he made this year,
it was great.
The fourth and goal against the Ravens. That one to Terry in the corner of the end zone. Or that one against the Saints when he fumbled the ball and had to run around for 10 seconds and then threw that dart. Oh,
Yeah, man.
seriously.
IQ, like Paul said, IQ. But we trying to close the show out. Before we close it out,
Yeah.
make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast platforms. Just search all Burgundy and Gold Everything. Also tweet us at ABG_everything and hit us up on IG and TikTok at ABG_everything. And folks, if you haven't, make sure you do subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Everything YouTube channel as well. Man, this has been a dope show. Appreciate y'all for pulling up, tuning in. Man, we got more. We're going to be back next Thursday. We're going to find out the topic. I can't tell you. I don't know the topic yet. But it's going to be something good. I guarantee. I guarantee it. Because the Commanders are just giving us news. You know, they're just giving us stuff. We just got to keep giving it to y'all. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. It is Deuces. We are out.